Alert. Mercury's big shift into Taurus, May 15th. All right, so guys, I am chilling here on a beautiful island, Gili Air. So I am in my island attire today. Hope you don't mind. Feeling really good here. Good morning, good evening, crypto astronauts, depending on where you're tuning in from, and welcome back to the Bitcoin and crypto paradise. If you're new here, I do technical analysis and run an astrology birth chart for Bitcoin and see if there's the astrology patterns correlate with the technical analysis. Please subscribe as I put out these high-value videos for free, but none of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for entertainment and educational purposes. Okay, so I have something very, very interesting to share today. This is phenomenal. Now, if you are an astrology skeptic, this could help you get more clarity on that. If you love astrology, you are going to love this. So I went into the history books and looked at every single time that Mercury went retrograde and was in a sign for 2 months, longer than usual. So typically Mercury, if we look at the astrology, typically Mercury sits in a sign for about a month or so. And there are certain times that it goes retrograde, obviously a few times a year. Let me show you this example that happened last year that is similar to what happened in March through May 15th. Is Mercury, let's go back for a second. So Mercury entered, this is last year first. This is July 29, 2023. Mercury ingressed into Virgo right here. As you can see, it went from Leo to Virgo. And if we go forward, keep an eye on this planet Mercury. It goes retrograde. It appears to go backwards. And it stays in Virgo, the same sign, all the way till October 5th. So more than 2 months. Now, this only happens maybe once a year or every 2 years. But I looked into the history books of Bitcoin, and I noticed that typically when Mercury is in a sign for longer than usual, about 2 months, and it retrogrades in that sign, we see a major shift in the Bitcoin market. Typically, we see Bitcoin stall out. All right, and I'll show you proof here. When we had this happen last year, this is where it happened. Whoopsies. Let me delete that. Okay. We had it happen back here. We had it start. I'm going to zoom in. We had it start right here, July 29th, and then it ended here. 68 days. And look what happened to Bitcoin. Bitcoin dumped, and then it just stalled out. Okay? And then once we were done, once Mercury came out of Virgo and went into the next sign, Libra, markets went off on a run. Okay, keep that in mind. Now look at where we're at now. We had a very, very similar Mercury transit where Mercury transited into Aries on March 10th, and it stayed in Aries all the way till May 15th, and we're just about to come out of Aries into Taurus. I'll show you right here. Right now, Mercury is at the last degree of Aries, the anaretic degree. If we go backwards, we go all the way back. Keep an eye on Mercury, this planet right here. What happens is we got that retrograde in Aries. It stayed in Aries this entire time for about 2 months. So this is right where it entered Aries, right around here, March 10th, March 9th, around there. And as you can see, it then retrograded right now. On April 1st, it retrograded. And then it appeared to go backwards. When it turns red, that means retrograde. Long retrograde during the eclipses. So this was not a fun retrograde. I don't know about you, but, you know. March, April was not the funnest time, particularly April. But we are potentially heading into a new chapter here as Mercury is finally coming out of Aries, which is the sign it was in during those really intense eclipses in April. All right, and then it comes out May 15th. There you go. It goes into Taurus there. So what do we see during this time? Look at this. Bitcoin immediately, so Mercury goes into Aries, Bitcoin immediately hits the all-time high, and then Bitcoin just stalls out for all of this time. 66 days. Okay. But if we look back in the history books, what has potentially happened historically? You know, after it comes out into the new sign, there was another dump here, but then major pump. All right. So I'm not saying this is guaranteed, but I'm saying this is a pattern here. And I could go more back in the history books. In fact, let's do that. I know a lot of you guys want to see all the data that we can. So Mercury, every time it turns retrograde, we had it last year in August. And let's see, potentially here, if we look Mercury here, it was in Taurus. Yeah, it looks like that was a pretty long retrograde. So if we go back, this one was back in earlier 2023. Mercury went from Aries into Taurus on April 4th. Then it retrograded in Taurus. And then it came back again and went into Gemini. So April 4th to June 11th. That's about 2 months. So let's look at the charts. Let's see if there's a continued correlation here. April 4th, 2023. Wow, it looks like there was again, guys. Can't make this up. What was it, June 11th? Oh my gosh. The same pattern. We saw Bitcoin pump to a peak there. And then all the way till when it came out of Taurus, Bitcoin just stalled out, guys. Take a look at this. You cannot deny these patterns here. Unless you're a total skeptic. Which is okay, I get it. I get that it takes a while to wrap your mind around this. But wow, this is incredible. All right, so, and then what happened? Right after this, we got a massive pump again. And now it did pump into a barely new all-time high, but it didn't go much further beyond that because we had another long Mercury retrograde after that. Now let's see if the next Mercury retrograde this year is going to be, I don't believe it is a long drawn-out one. I don't believe it's a 2-month one. We look in August, yeah, because the next time in August, it starts in Virgo, it looks like. And then it heads back into Leo. So it switches signs. And that's pretty normal. So it does not stay in Virgo for 2 months. Goes back to Leo, then back into Virgo. And let's see the next one after that. Oopsies. Oh, it looks like we see it on this one. Oh, at the end of the year. So this is one happens in November, the retrograde. But so Mercury enters the sign Sagittarius on November 2nd. Ooh, around the time of the U.S. election, guys. This is really interesting. And then it goes retrograde in Sagittarius, 22 degrees, goes backwards. See how it turns red? And then it goes back forward again, and it's still in Sagittarius all the way until January 8th. So more than 2 months. It happens again. So very interesting. We could see Bitcoin and crypto stall out. Could we see that again November 2nd all the way to January 8th. Very interesting. Before maybe it goes into an all-time high after that. Wow. This is very, very interesting, guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Are these correlations legitimate? Or are they just pie in the sky, like skeptics like to say? Wow. Could we see an all-time high after this long drawn-out 2-month Mercury retrograde after January 8th? Very interesting. All right, so we'll definitely keep that in mind. That's for sure. All right, so we could talk a bit more about the planet Mercury and retrogrades. So Mercury comes out of shadow on May 13th. So we already had that happen. What that means is that basically, so what we had last month is Mercury went retrograde starting at, starting at 17 degrees Aries. Let's see. 18 degrees. Let's see, where is it? Mercury started going retrograde. I'm trying to get the number. Come on. Okay, at 27 degrees. That's when it started retrograde, this last time in April 1st. And so 27 degrees. So then it appears to go backwards. So as you see, these numbers get smaller and smaller with Mercury. 16, and then it goes back up. And once it gets back to 27, then that's when it comes out of shadow. And so that just kind of means it gets back to where it was when the retrograde started. So May 13th. So we're out of shadow. That's good news. Could we see Bitcoin start to... I mean, it seems like we're going into an accumulation phase with Bitcoin right now, because if we look at the daily exchange volume, we're just falling off a cliff here. If we zoom out and then we even look at the full screen... You know, this is the all-time high for Bitcoin when exchange volume was super high. We've been just falling off a cliff after that. Now, it's not necessarily a terrible thing. It means that this is potentially a time of when people are accumulating. All right. Now, today we are also getting a lot of volatility because we just got the core PPI, the PPI numbers, and the Fed Chair Powell spoke recently, and we typically get a lot of volatility with that. So that's potentially why the markets are dropping right now. But it looks like they might be holding up fairly well. So not looking too bad. Okay, more on Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is a very fast-moving planet. Let's take a look again. This guy here in the purple. It's a fast-moving planet and doesn't like getting stuck in one sign for too long. So it was in Aries for 2 months, that long drawn-out retrograde. Mercury gets agitated and grumpy. It itches to go. Mercury usually only spends a few weeks in a sign, but got extended in this stay in Aries thanks to that retrograde. A planet is called retrograde in astrology when it appears to move backwards through the zodiac, and Mercury retrograde is notorious for throwing off communication and tech. In Aries, this meant a lot of fights and frustration. I know I was dealing with a lot of frustration. We were doing some renovations on our home, first world problems. That retrograde lasted from April 1st to the 25th. So it's been over for almost 3 weeks, but it only got out of shadow a couple of days ago. It takes a week or two before we start to feel like we're back to normal again. Any issues that popped up gets resolved, but that is likely the case by now. So let me know in the comments, who feels like things are getting kind of things are getting better now with more positive astrology? I know I'm feeling that way. But before Mercury moves on, it will be in the anaretic degree in Aries right now. That means 29 degrees. This is the anaretic degree where it is supercharged energy, especially in a transit like this, where it's been in this sign, Aries, for 2 months. So we might have to work on having better control over our energy and especially anger over the next few days. So think before lashing out. Mercury in Taurus, which it heads into in the next 12 hours or so, Mercury in Taurus slows everything down because Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is also very stubborn. And Taurus wants things to be slow and steady, so we're not rushing so much with Mercury and Taurus like we may have over the last couple months. Though we can still have some impatience, that's for sure. Take some quiet time to reflect on the last couple months and focus on what you want to work on moving forward. As Mercury is now direct, don't rush and be steady. And in Taurus tradition, drink some wine or eat some chocolate. That sounds delicious. Now we can talk a little bit more about the Bitcoin astrology. So as Mercury ingresses into Taurus, we're going to get that in a couple days here. As you can see, it goes into Taurus on May 15th. Now, if we look at the Bitcoin chart, we see what is going on May 15th. Take a look. Let's see. We have this negative transit that's still a little bit in effect there. We do have Pluto conjuncting the Bitcoin Mercury. That's proved to be pretty positive, but it's now getting bearish because it's coming out of that orb. Now on the 15th, we do have this couple positive transits here. Venus sextile Uranus, and then Venus trining the Bitcoin Saturn before the next day, right after, actually no, 2 days after, we get these negative hits here, which are pretty negative. So interesting. We could see a relief rally in the next 24 hours, but then maybe another correction. And then after that, we get this really positive Jupiter trining Jupiter. But then after that, we get the Jupiter square the Bitcoin's Venus. Gosh, can we get some stability here? It just looks like it's just volatility. And then we get this really negative transit heading into June and July for Bitcoin, unfortunately. So I'm going to be talking a lot more about that in future videos, so keep an eye out for my next update, my June crypto update, which is going to be very, very critical. All right, so we did see Mercury was in Aries since March when we had the Bitcoin all-time high. I mean, this is incredible, guys. This is almost exactly when Mercury went into Aries. It ingressed into Aries. We got this final pump, and then that was it. This literally almost within 5 days marked the all-time high. This is an incredible indicator here for astrology here. I will admit I kind of dropped the ball on this, and I really apologize, guys. So I will never ignore this indicator again. Somehow this slipped through the cracks. We are going to keep an eye on this, especially for the next time this happens, November 2nd through January 8th of 2025. This is really, really, really interesting because we could see Bitcoin stall out then and head off into the final. Could it be a blow off top in January, February, March, around there? And could that be the final crazy altcoin run? Certainly possible. Very, very interesting. Now, I mean, and what's happening now, could we see another pump up? I'll be talking a lot more about that. But if we just base it off of the astrology, I don't know how high we're going to go up, guys. I don't know if we're going to hit 65,000 or if we're going to go up higher. But we're probably going to get a pump. But it might not last because we're getting some negative astrology in the summer. So a lot of volatility, unfortunately. But could be, I'm thinking, with my strategy, I'm thinking it could be a good buy opportunity. Could be a good DCA opportunity. Okay? And what final things do we have? So this is likely why Bitcoin has paused for the last 2 months, obviously, and we could be in for a market shift May 15th when Mercury ingresses into Taurus. All right. So one quick announcement I want to share is that we do have the VIP Spa Day bonus for those who are interested in signing up for the Bali retreat. We only have a couple more spots available, and if you sign up with the special coupon code that I talked about in my last video, if you look at the May, let's see which video, the recent full moon video update for May 23rd, You can see all of the information with this, but you get this amazing VIP spa day at the Bali retreat happening September 7th through 14th. You get this incredible flower petal bath. You get the massage. And you get all of these extra bonuses. Take a look at my recent full moon video. So when you register for May 15th through 23rd, you'll also get a special coupon code. All right. And it's May 24. So you just type that out on the bottom of the checkout page and you get that. And you are in, guys, for this incredible life-changing experience. All right. That's about all, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more amazing videos like this. If you want to hang out with me on this incredible Gili paradise, definitely click the links below, and I'll see you on the next video.